Hello, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. Thanks for visiting my channel. I appreciate you watching the video, and if you would, before you leave, make sure to hit that like button down below. That helps me out quite a bit. Approaching 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to all the people who've subscribed to my channel and all the people who've been watching my videos. I appreciate the nice comments and all the positive input. Feel free to leave comments down below and suggestions for other videos too. That helps me too. Today I'm going to show you how to make what I've always called a rolling ring. It's 3 interlocking bands that kind of roll onto your finger when you put it on. I've also heard them called Russian wedding rings and a couple other things that I don't recall off the top of my head, but they're pretty easy to make and they're fun and people seem to like them, so they're a pretty good seller. So stay tuned. Okay, for the rolling ring, all we're going to need is some 8-gauge half-round wire and some hard silver solder. And what you need to know as far as getting the size on these ones, there's going to be 3 interlocking rings that all connect together. And so since they cross over each other inside of the band of each other, they reduce the size of the hole that your finger can go through. And so a good rule of thumb is if you want a size 9, you should measure 3 sizes above it for about a 12. If you want a size 6, do a 9. Okay, so but you're going to do 3 of those, and when they interlock, then the hole through all 3 of them is going to be smaller than they would be if it was just one ring. So 3 sizes above is a general rule for that. Say we want to make a size 8. So 3 sizes above is 9, 10, 11. So we're going to measure around the 11. Just like always when I'm measuring for just simple bands, I'm always going to leave just a skosh beyond, like 1/8 of an inch for filing, and to compensate for the fact that we're using a flat piece of paper to measure for something that has some depth, which changes its overall geometry. So this is how long all 3 of them need to be made. Get these flat and then file the ends and make sure they're all pretty close to the same size. Got a little curve in those going that way too. Pull some of that out. File the ends. I think you can do just about any odd number with these. If you start to do like 5 rings interlocking, you need to go with a little bit smaller gauge than this, because the ring itself gets to be too wide around your finger and then it's uncomfortable to wear. So, but if you use much narrower wires, you could get 5 or 7. Those are pretty close. So I always solder bands, not round to start with. And if you're doing a rolling ring, you could do this where they're round, but it's harder to get them to have a nice neat solder joint if you solder them where they're round. So, and this seems a little bit redundant, but I'm going to solder them this way first, make them perfectly round, and then I'm going to cut 2 of them right on the solder joint with the jeweler's saw, so I get a nice clean cut, and then just resolder them back together once they're interlocked. So, but if you do it like like this, you can get a nice invisible solder joint. The problem is, once they're interlocked, you can't round them out. So bands, I usually just cut a little strip like this and I roll it around the outside of the chain nose pliers. That gives you kind of a little half round shape. You can just drop right over the solder joint there. I'm sure I said that in my video about making a simple band way back when, but I think the quality of those videos when I first started was a little bit lower. So I'll tell you again. Okay, let's flux these guys and solder them. Next, we'll need to remove the excess solder from the inside. Just usually use a jeweler's file like this, a half round. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of round them out. Normally do this on my knee. I'll probably do the other two on my knee. I just wanted you to see me rounding it out on the angle here. Generally there's a little bump of solder on the outside too, so I'm going to take that off with a bastard file. For two of these now, I'm just going to cut them now that they're rounded out. Because I won't be able to round them after I hook them together, did it now, and now I'm going to cut them right on the solder joint here. So, and then we'll just resolder it once they're connected. The trick is sometimes finding the solder joint. Okay, so notice I just did two of them. Okay. So, what we need to do now is just interlock one of these ones I just cut. Push it past a little bit so it's pushing together again. Make sure it's lined up right. Just like that. And then I always make sure that I'm not leaning this one onto the solder joint of the previous one so I don't accidentally solder it together. So I'm just going to, chances are good that if I just reheat it, it'll flow, but I might throw a little extra solder in there just to be safe. And since I don't want anything to flow on that one, I'm just going to be heating this band here. And I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably pick up a little bit of solder to add, just to make sure I get a good solid seam that doesn't show. Chances are I don't need it though. We got two hooked together now. And this one, got to hook through both of these. So go through both of them like that. And if you were doing 5 or 7 of a smaller gauge, you would do exactly the same thing each time. Just go through all of them each time until you do use up the last one. So like if I was doing 5, next time I do it through all 3 and then all 4. Again, I want to try to prevent anything from getting too hot and soldering when I don't want it to. Do that. That looks pretty good. Again, I'm going to pick up a little extra solder and touch it there in case I need it. Alright, let that pickle and then we'll finish it up for you. Alright, so here's the final piece. It's worth noting that these things roll on better one way than they do another. See how they roll nicely like that? If the outside ring is flipped around like this, and they won't go on very nicely. So if it's not going on right, flip one of the rings like that, and then it should roll on nicely. So that was the rolling ring video. Hope you found it to be useful and helpful. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. If you enjoyed this and would like to see some of my other videos, I'd recommend checking them out. And if you find those to be useful as well, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you get notifications of when I upload new videos. Thanks again to all the people who make the nice comments and things. I appreciate your taking the time to watch, and I hope you have a nice day and happy silversmithing. Take care.